honestly, we don't tell Bob what I'm going to wear. Bob tells me.
Okay.
Bob doesn't just tell me where I'm going to wear it. He tells me how they're going to shoot it. He goes, this one looks good from the back. So if you could come in, I'm like, what, backwards?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Goodbye, a new podcast from Harper's BAZAAR, where we invite celebrities, designers, models, and tastemakers to talk shop, what they buy, where they got it, and why it matters. Hi, I'm Lynette Nylander, Executive Digital Director at Harper's BAZAAR.
I'm Leah Chernikoff, Executive Editor at Harper's BAZAAR, and this is The Goodbye.
I want to ask you this, Leah.
Tell me.
What is your goodbye of the week?
Do you have one?
I love the way I have to think because that's how much of a shopper I am, shamelessly.
I know, and
do.
I have to think because I don't shop as much.
Let me think, actually. Oh, I found an incredible cream Celine blouse on the Real. Phoebe Philo Celine, gorgeous, timeless, and it was $225. And I mean, you can't beat that. So I'm really trying to bank on having a great white shirt, a great pair of corduroys, a great jean, a great bag, and not having so much. So I think that shirt should fit into that.
Lovely. Okay, I figured mine out.
Okay, so
Are you
figured
ready?
it out. Go for it.
You know when a trend, like, it starts and you're like, oh, that couldn't be for me. And then it's just like, it's just like kind of gets bigger and bigger. And then you're like, okay, I'm in and I want to figure it out. So that's sheer for me. So I got this sheer kind of organza looking button down from the Fringy shop. I like put into Google like shop sheer blouses just to see. And that's sort of my entry into figuring out sheer and how to wear it, just like with jeans, maybe a little jacket over. Well, today The Goodbye is in a special location.
On set for Miley Cyrus's Harper's BAZAAR cover shoot. In our current landscape, we are starved for icons, so I'm really excited that today we have one so mega that we can't even imagine pop culture without them.
Oh, you said it. I was thinking it.
She spoke.
I just love
Leading
that
up.
intro.
I think I wrote it myself.
Starved for icons.
We're starved, and I really will get into that. We really are starved for icons. Go.
We have more. One who's turned out more hits than we can count.
One that has an eye for fashion and has done since she was 13. One that looks incredible in a Gucci gown, a Bob Mackie mini, in some distressed denim.
On this week's episode, we have a guest who is the personification of glamour, of pop star. You grew up with her on TV. She is a Grammy-winning musician, and we can't wait to delve deep into her style and her story. Welcome to The Goodbye, Miley Cyrus.
Cheer for Miley Cyrus.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Did you just fly in? You just flew into New York City?
I did. I did a day before because I wanted to create a new look for this cover.
Ooh, tell us more. What's the new vision?
Yeah, can we know?
You're looking at it.
Tell us.
I went short on the
Tell
sides
us.
of my hair because I never want to have to choose. I want to have it all and to be able to do both at all times. And so I have my hair very long, almost down my back, lots of length in the back, and then short on the sides because I want to always, no matter what angle I'm being seen from, I want it to feel one of one, super unique, and I don't ever want to look the same day to day. I like waking up and being surprised at what I look like, so I always like to have something that moves and that evolves and that surprises me.
And what you're wearing is something that is one of one, or it looks one of one. Tell us a little bit more about what you're wearing today.
It's Ferragamo, and I thought that it really reflected where I'm at right now creatively and musically, which is, something that I feel that can be kind of loved and understood. I mean, who doesn't love a big oversized like fur coat?
By the way, just explaining everything for our listeners at home, Ferragamo is now being held by Maximilian Davis, actually an old friend of mine, and he's killing it over there. It's
really killing it.
Amazing, beautiful, sexy Italian style.
And should we describe the look a little bit?
Yeah,
So we've got these like beautiful white pants.
I
and
feel like
they're
I'm on
sort of-
QVC.
Yes.
That's my dream. Do it. I'll sell it.
Here she is.
Except, okay, so today on QVC, we have
Miley.
Miley Cyrus modeling a beautiful black satin strapless pump.
I would call it a mule.
A mule.
A bit of a mule.
even. A mule with a white, I can't actually see what's
Describe
happening.
these, because I don't even know where to
white,
start.
Yes, like
double
hem,
hemmed,
contrast stitch.
contrast stitch, cotton canvas pant,
Word.
complete with a silk
Oh,
white
silk
shirt.
pants.
I'm just going to add charmeuse. I don't even know if it's charmeuse, but
It's
let's
just
say
fun
it.
to say.
It's fun.
Charmeuse.
Max, right in with what it actually is made of, and a big furry jacket.
And the red lip.
And the red lip.
And the jewels.
Available for you today for the
Here
grand old price
at-
of...
We don't know.
We don't know.
Okay. Well, let's start because you were talking about sort of how you like to sort of surprise yourself when you wake up and create your looks. How would you describe your personal style?
My personal style is in the moment. I am committed while also being completely detached. That's who I am. That's like being in a relationship with me. That's being a friend of mine. That's being related to me. At all times, I am fully convinced until I'm not. And then I am done with it. I have moved on. There isn't too much, emotional attachment to each piece. I mean, my 7 storage units would disagree because I do hold on to some things, that have emotional attachment, but really I don't feel when I get ready that there are yes or there are no's, or there is an equation of, well, does that look consistent? Consistency has never really been too important to me because I think being inconsistent and being ever changing is consistency in itself. And so every day is just different. Again, I feel very kind of committed to a look, but also one foot is already out the door and onto the next one.
I want to ask you, who are your greatest style inspirations? Because you've been around everyone since, you were a child. You've seen everything. You have amazing references. Tell me who inspires you.
I love an artist that does the most and does the least, and you don't really know the difference because it all feels like skin. It all feels like them. So someone like my godmother, Dolly Parton, she definitely does the most, but it feels like it's just a part of her. It never feels like a costume or an armor keeping you at a distance from her. It actually like brings you in. And I feel that way about a Grace Jones or a Diana Ross. I feel like they're so a part of their identity. They're a part of their show. They're a part of who they are, but they don't distract you from their heart, from their words, from their artistry, because sometimes when you go too big with style, if you don't have a personality to match that size, then you can get kind of worn by the clothes.
Yeah,
and I love
exactly.
women that wear clothes, they don't get worn by clothes, but it could be someone even minimal like Jane Birkin. So from Dolly Parton to Grace Jones to Jane Birkin, I love them all. I just love women that know how to carry clothing and they don't let clothes wear them.
And I think it's also about women who offset, off concert, off tour, and in their everyday lives carry it with the same kind of like, I don't even know what that is.
I always say I want to be the girl that you would meet. I want to be the same person at the grocery store, at the airport, as I do in my performances. And that can look really different because for as much attention as I have on myself in my life, I also ask for a lot less of attention in my day-to-day. I have a very kind of minimal, very essential take on life in my personal time. So in my relationships, in my day-to-day, spending time in the canyon, I am like, back and forth going to these little shops in the valley or in Topanga Canyon. I'm in LA, so spending a lot of time in the beach and that culture. But then also I have access to just so many different, amazing designers. And so when I am performing, I like to let those designers be a part of the performance too. So I don't have to do so much of the work. I let Bob Mackie do the work or Gucci do the work. So I stand there and just do my job, which is just to, be in the lyrics and to be in the song and to have people have a feeling from the music. But for them, they get to kind of perform through the look. But in my day-to-day life, I don't ask for that kind of attention. So I'm very minimal in my day-to-day. So my uniform is jeans and a white t-shirt, just something that's very California and kind of easy to blend in.
How does your costume or wardrobe inform your performance? How do you pick your references, and how does it then translate into the look?
The music is the heart and the soul of everything. So it's all about the music and being able to enhance the emotion behind the song. I mean, sometimes by accident, it may go outfit first. Yeah. Sometimes I may wear something that, it just kind of immediately creates, attention or a conversation, which is my favorite. I love when someone isn't sure how they feel about something for a second, because that's when you actually get to have conversations and they can go a little deeper than fashion. But again, all the wardrobe is always inspired by the music first. It's not trying to get a song to fit into a look.
So I'm going to ask about that epic Grammy performance. Specifically, we mentioned before, but that Bob Mackie, the hair.
Okay, that's one of the ones where the dress came first.
Okay.
No, the dress didn't actually come first. Well, of course, the song came first. And, flowers in the video, the gold Saint Laurent dress that what I'm wearing. It's really kind of the concept of the video. All of us, actually, all my boys you met today, we all separately screenshotted the gold YSL dress separately. And we were we were like, I know what I have to wear for the video.
It's mind meld.
All of us.
Wow.
You're
all
synced
of us.
up.
And so we all showed each other and we all had it saved. So we knew. And so the dress is such an important part of that song. It is such a part of the armor. And I wanted something equally as iconic and as memorable as that gold dress. And what I love is the Grammys can take itself very seriously. And I've never wanted to play that game. And so I wanted to have a lot of fun. And Bob Mackie, that's what it's all about. You really just feel so much joy when you have those strings of beaded fringe going down your leg, and every time you shake and move, you're in full command, and they're dancing with you, and it made it so, it said everything that I wanted to say and didn't have time to say on stage.
Yeah, clothes can talk for you. That's like such an important part of, making these choices.
Right.
Where do you find it, though? That's what we'd love to get into, these little details.
Well, a little bit of everywhere.
Okay.
For Bob Mackie, we drive out to Palm Springs. We go see Bob, and honestly, we don't tell Bob what I'm going to wear. Bob tells me.
Okay.
Bob doesn't just tell me where I'm going to wear it. He tells me how they're going to shoot it. He goes, this one looks good from the back. So if you could come in, I'm like, what, backwards?
And you were like,
I'm like,
yes.
it's a stage.
You're like, but maybe.
Yeah, so he wants to get it from the back. He knows all the different angles he created the dress from all angles. So he will tell you what angle the dress wants to be shot from. So, in his world, the dress comes first. But really, even that is, I'm just kind of kidding. I mean, really, for Bob, the thing that you can see through him is that the artist comes first. The woman in the gown comes first. And that to me is just a love letter. And so wearing that, it gives you a sense of safety. But, through when I'm wearing designers, I find them directly from the designers. And usually I talk to the designers themselves instead of going through, playing telephone. It's like I want to talk to the creative behind it. And then I just got all these little secret stores I'd be going to sometimes.
Which we're gonna fry them out.
We'll see.
We're gonna fry them out.
We'll see.
But speaking of designers, you have amazing relationships with some of the world's best designers. Obviously, you have Sabato at Gucci. You've been wearing a lot of Margiela. You've been wearing a lot of Dolce & Gabbana that you'll love face off.
Yeah.
You have Marc Jacobs. I know you and Marc Jacobs are tight. Tell me about how those relationships have formed, because you can see when you've met a designer and you click, and then when that comes in.
Oh, that's what's happening right now. Me and John Galliano, everything that he sends or creates, it is just exactly what I'm looking for. Same thing with Bob Mackie. And what I've loved about Dolce & Gabbana is that it's just classic. It's just always a yes. And so when, especially, it's a time where we're getting dressed, kind of quickly, you just know that you're going to feel and look super sexy and classic. And you're just going to, again, not be doing too much, but not be doing too little. It's just always going to be right. And what I love about kind of Gucci and what the new Gucci is representing with Sabato is that it is something a little bit cleaner and more minimal. And I feel that sometimes, because I have so much to say and I have so much of my own personality, that when clothes do too much of the talking, it doesn't leave room for me to kind of speak my piece. And so I think the new Gucci and what it's giving me is just clean. It's very minimal. And so I'm able to express myself without kind of getting drowned in someone else's creation, if that makes sense.
Right. No competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The message is clear.
Just always to be telling our listeners what's up. Gucci has a relatively new creative director called Sabato De Sarno, and he's ushered in a really beautiful, minimal, thoughtful tenure at Gucci. It's about these like earthy tones and this beautiful red that's called Ancora.
More.
And yeah, it's very...
I love that he came and said Ancora, which is more, and then did less.
Did
Love
less.
him.
But you guys need to run. It is great. We're big fans.
It's beautiful. I love
of
everything.
Gucci over at Harper's Bazaar.
Me too.
So over at the Goodbye, we like to get into the granular specifics of what you like to buy. So the first question
Yes, ma'am.
is, what is your first buy? What was the first buy that made you feel like, I made it, I'm the only woman, you
know
can't
what it
tell
is.
me anything?
The ostrich Prada. The ostrich
Okay,
Prada.
tell
I
us,
know
tell
you're not
us
allowed to
about
have
this.
ostrich anymore, you guys. I was 12. I didn't know better. I went to Paris for the first time. Why? It's true. I didn't know better. I went to Paris, and the first thing I did when I landed was I made my dad take me to Prada, and I brought an ostrich bag.
Oh my
Color?
goodness.
Sorry, I didn't know.
Color.
Okay, more.
Yeah.
So, like, what was it? Like, did you beeline straight forward?
I
Like, that was
literally
the
went straight
one?
to Well, No, I knew that was
Was it
the
calling
one.
to you?
It was calling to me, and it is still sitting in one of the mini units. I was telling you about how I'm
Okay.
emotionally detached to all my items, yet I'm literally a hoarder. So I was kind of like, my personal closet is very minimal and very clean and very essential. The units, on the other hand, are a whole other level.
She contains multitudes.
We have units. We have
One
multiple
day-
locations.
Oh,
Just in case.
we're not going to talk about the locations, but we are going to talk about what's in it. Do we have one that's like tour costumes? Do we have
Yes.
one that's like
Archivals, personal, sentimental, memorabilia, handmade, fan made, designer made, custom made. I made it. My grandma made it. Like I have all of it.
Do you even have some stuff that you like regret in there? Like stuff that you're like, oh Lord.
yes.
Can you tell us a regret story?
Probably anything
People are
from
laughing.
around like there's like a 2000 and probably 6 to 2009 that are questionable.
Okay,
but
a
they're
3-year
iconic
span.
eras. That was what was it. I mean, I can't help it. The silhouettes really shift.
Yeah.
And that's something that when you look over, a long career, that you have to shift with those silhouettes at times. And so there are a couple of shapes that were just a little less flattering than I wish
Okay.
they would have been.
Okay, but that everything comes back.
But you know what? I also got into I love fringe. I will always stand by fringe. I love fringe forever. But there was an era of mine where the fringe would go from under the bust, down to the bottom of the boot. And it was wearing me.
It was
And
some
I also
long
had
fringe.
250 individual hair extensions. And so there was just a lot of down.
I have to talk about the fact she
Pulling.
knows the amount of hair extensions, which anyone who's had hair
Because if it
extensions
was under
know-
250, my mom wasn't having it.
Oh,
Oh.
Tish
okay,
would say,
Miss
we need
Tish.
another row. Tish would be like, take another row up. We would have 250.
Because she liked that fullness.
Which they don't even do that anymore. The kind of hair extensions that we had, they don't even do these anymore.
That is hilarious. Okay, but you've retired the extensions.
Yes.
We're on to something new.
It was that just my hair and the fringe, they were just taking me down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I needed something to go up. And I didn't have
A
that yet.
lift.
I needed a lift.
Can I ask how your mom has sort of influenced? Is there any push-pull with your fashion and your look and how she's informed it?
I think a lot of us, for our mothers, there was a standard of women being pretty before that all of us now have gone, that's not my priority. It's not about just being pretty. That doesn't have enough depth for me. And so I think something that me and my mom have at one point had a back and forth about, and now I've seen her grow a lot, that isn't her first thought when she goes into a store to try on clothes is, do I look pretty? And I think a lot of that came from me because it's just never my first question about myself. I'm always thinking about, what does this say? What does this mean? In this moment, is this expressing what I don't get to say to every stranger on the street, but when they see me, do they feel it too? And so I think, for me, it's just challenging that generation that my mother was a part of, that my grandmother was a part of, that didn't give women the dimension that they deserve, of that clothes can be more than just make you look pretty.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah. My mom questioned some of my looks.
Okay.
Really?
She
What's
questions
a,
on my
what's a
looks.
recent question?
My mom, let's think of something she hasn't liked recently. Trying to think. There hasn't been much.
And how does she let you know? Does she text you? What are you doing?
You'll
or-
just know. It's that thing.
It's the
that
lack
mother,
of text.
No, she'll do that thing where it's cute.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What'd she say it about? Oh, that was so mean.
Which one?
We had game night at my house,
Tell us.
and I got this really cute new Margiela vest. And I said, Mom, look, I got this Margiela vest today. And she goes, cute.
Oh.
Yeah.
And then I was like, you don't like it? And she's like, well, it's not my thing. But it was super cute. It was a little cashmere Margiela vest. It was so cute. But
The little cropped,
it
kind
was
of
a little
twisted
crop,
one.
and it had plaid kind of hanging off the sides. But that Margiela is not really my mom's thing. My mom was so happy when I started working with Dolce & Gabbana because my mom's a Dolce girl through and through. And she loves a Gucci, jeans and a blazer. That's everything. But my mom does come from that world where it's about being pretty. It's about being sexy. And so for me, sometimes what I like about Margiela is that it can lean a bit more androgynous, and it can lean into a little bit more of a question mark for kind of someone that likes to play it safe. They
Totally.
kind of question it. But I did have it paired casually. I wore it with jeans.
There you go.
Tish, come on.
Come on.
I mean, some Margiela by John Galliano we love. We
It's
always
the
adore.
fashion. Yeah.
It's the fashion.
Okay.
I'd be like, Mom, it's fashion. She'd be like, is it? Uh-huh.
Your kind of fashion.
What do you repeat buy? Like, what are your white t-shirts? Do you buy the same one over and over
I
again?
am embarrassed to say that I just bought 3 pairs of the same shoe.
Okay, tell us.
But that's because I already know that I'm going to wear these until the sole fall off. They're just little kind of the row, very soft, minimal black boots. And they're so soft that I can already tell that they are going to, you know, I got 2 years in these, but these aren't a 2-year boot. This is a forever boot. So I just bought 3 pairs.
That's really smart.
Yeah, I think that is really smart. Again, imbuing a little lesson. We know the row. We love the row. 2006, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen's line.
Wow, the year established.
I love that. I love
but
sitting with this with all the info.
I know. Hey, listen, I'm an oracle, people.
Let's go.
But their leather is incredibly soft. They're wonderful. They use it on their bags. They use it in their jackets. But it is so soft.
So soft.
So buttery, in fact, that it's almost for girls who really wear their clothes. And I'm a girl who wears
too.
stuff. I'm on the subway. I'm sweating. You know, things are
You're
really
living
happening
your
in my
life.
clothes, and I'm living my life. And I think that, you know, you really have to, you got to be robust, and you got to think about how to make it last. So it's very smart that you have 3 pairs of the same
I've
things.
heard one of my boys just told me about, I'll have to get the name. Someone just told me about a new like leather cream that you put on
really?
your
Ooh.
boots that make them last a lot longer. But there's not a cream in the world that could come between me and my row boots. I need these.
Okay, remember before you mentioned your little stores?
Oh yeah.
So are there any that you want to disclose, and what do you go there for?
Well, I love going to local, small, supporting those smaller businesses, because when it comes to my designers and those kinds of relationships, like, they don't need my money. Except the row. They just got my money. But
They
you know,
take all of our
they
money.
take all
all
of our
of our money.
the girls
yeah.
take all my money. But you know, besides that, I really like to support my smaller, like, local businesses in LA. And some of my vintage stores that I use, they actually, most of them do not have names. They're appointment only contacts.
Yes.
And so for me, what I like to do is find someone that's a collector and keep in contact with them, and be having someone individual, you know, kind of curating for me, because I mean, girls, it's too much out here. Like, you can shop 24/7.
No, it's like paralysis.
It's, you know what?
We need guides.
They did it like a Vegas lottery. It's like you've always got, they call it the jackpot in your pocket. It's like you've always got it. And anytime you're sad or down, you grab your phone and you can get that retail therapy. And I actually think it can become super unhealthy, and you can not have the same gratitude for your pieces, because I love like hoofing it to a store and trying things on and making a decision. And when you don't have that experience, sometimes you're not as emotionally attached to what you have.
Totally.
100%.
you
I'm
know.
only laughing because me and Leia share an office over at Harper's BAZAAR HQ, and Lord, she knows, I'll be coming in from lunch. I wonder, and I'll be like, on Instagram with a vintage reseller. Like the other day, I was like,
The DMs is it.
I was DMing about a vintage.
Oh yeah, the
Comme de
Carrie
Garçon.
Bradshaw. Yeah, the skirt.
Oh no, I was actually talking about the Comme de Garçon.
Oh, see, it's
double.
hard to.
But a Westwood mini skirt. That's the little Westwood mini skirt that Carrie wore in Sex and the City with the little ruffle on the butt. I bought it, and then I freaked out and like returned it back, and
Oh, I love a return.
I'm like,
That's the most important part, is making sure that there are returns. Because sometimes you're just in the moment and you're having a vision of all these things you're going to do in that little ruffled Vivian skirt. And then you're like, I haven't done any of those things like ever in my life. When am I doing that?
yes.
Is there like a holy grail that you're searching for right now?
I am on the quest for a new motorcycle boot, and something that feels clean but somewhat worn, not Western.
Okay.
What I'm looking for is not Western. And I'm also, I don't want Western. I want it clean, but I want it worn. I don't like when
I know what
I'm
you're saying.
sitting and it feels like I'm in an equestrian, or I can't.
Yeah.
I'm all about like movement. Like you know, we were kind of talking about, when I envision myself, it's like, I want to be able to dance at any moment. I want to be able to take my dog to the park at any moment. I don't want to have to think, oh, I'm in these stiff boots right now. That's just not, I want it to be able to be in every part of my life. So I am on the quest for the perfect kind of motorcycle boot that's clean line, fresh, worn, not Western. And again, bought a couple pairs, regretted immediately.
Miu Miu?
Did the return. No, I did the Loewe ones with the round toe.
Oh.
And because I have the small feet, the web isn't working for me. Like it's doing that thing where it's giving but not giving.
Giving but not giving.
Giving, no, but
It's like doing too much but not doing enough for me personally. And the other thing is, like, I have like, you know, long legs and a proportionate torso. Bradley told Bob Mackie I had a short torso.
Oh,
He was like, I told him, I gave him all your measurements, long leg and a short torso. I'm like, girl, my torso's as long as you and you're 5'9" and I'm 5'4".
Take that back.
So that I told
they're
him.
trying not to laugh audibly, but
Yes.
it's called out on the pod.
Caught out on the bottom. Because my thing is like I do have the long legs, so I can get away with wearing like a taller motorcycle boot. But when I wear a shorter motorcycle boot, they kind of cut me off.
Yeah.
But I'm looking for something in that middle ground. I'm looking for something that could be worn. Also, I love to wear my motorcycle boots with like a gown if I want. So I want to be able to wear them with anything, perform in them. I ask so much of my boots. I ask so much of them.
My motorcycle boots and a gown.
Yeah,
I
where
love
is
that.
it hitting? Like,
So I'm like it to be like maybe it's shin.
okay.
Shin, not really near the knee, because like I want to show the length.
Well, yeah.
I want to show the length of my legs, right? Shin height.
Miley Cyrus. The final question, though I could
know, I
honestly
love this
interview,
conversation.
but I will say I'm really, you know your stuff. You
Yes.
are a shopper. I can
Girl.
feel it.
Oh yeah.
She's a scroller,
Uh-huh.
looking and hunting. I love it. That's very much Harper's Bazaar's way. What is your latest goodbye? What is the last thing you bought that you are obsessed with?
I think I just bought a leather jacket from Saint Laurent, and I love it because it fits in every version of myself. And I am very particular about spending. So if I am going to make a big purchase, I want it to be something that I could imagine myself wearing it as long as it lasts. And so I, like the vision that you had with your Vivienne Westwood skirt, I saw myself everywhere in this coat. Like I could imagine myself doing all these things. What I mostly imagined was like going to a concert with my boyfriend, but then I imagined it wearing at one of my own concerts. And then I imagined like me and my mom once a year and go walk around this rose garden in Pasadena. And sometimes it's cold, so I'll bring my jacket. It's like this jacket gets to come with me on the sweetest moments of my life, like on the simplest, most personal moments of my life. But I also bought it so it could be a part of those big moments in my life. I can wear it on stage. Again, I love a leather jacket and a gown. I can wear it with a gown. I always am looking for something that can be a bridge between my personal life and my professional persona. And that's where I end up making those big splurges, is something that feels like it fits into both of my worlds.
It's really nice.
Yeah, that's amazing. I'm like, wow, Anthony Vaccarello, designer of Saint Laurent, like he really did it. Like for a piece of clothing to be able to achieve that, for someone like you to exist on a big stage and then on a walk with your mom.
He really
like,
does. That's one of my favorite parts about Saint Laurent is that I feel like it's something that there's photos of me probably when I was like 16, my first leather skirt, my nice leather skirt that I got for myself, it was Saint Laurent. During the Bangers era, I was wearing full Saint Laurent before it was Anthony. And that was at a time where I was really like kind of recreating myself and I was redesigning myself. And the fact that something that could fit when I was 15 and that's so not who I was at 21, it still really worked. And then going with Anthony with Saint Laurent to the Met, and I loved going with him because the theme was camp, and we didn't really play into doing anything that felt like me. I am camp. It's like it's camp. Like
She looks to camera.
you put me in a triangle and call it a day, and it was like that was everything. And so I feel like Saint Laurent is something that I always feel is an amazing investment because it's always going to be classic.
It's really affirming to me to hear you can buy whatever you want. And it's really amazing to hear you be so mindful and be like, no, look, it's a big purchase. I want to make sure I get the wear. I want to make sure that it works. I want to make sure I love it. You have inspired me.
And that skirt sounds cute, but I have one of those little Vivienne skirts and we're not going to wear it.
Okay.
I'm selling mine. You probably were trying to buy mine.
Hey.
I'm getting rid of all of it.
I'll take
Now,
over.
you get
to
the
Harper's
advice.
Bazaar HQ.
Hand her the mic.
There was like
let
a
her
time during the
dictate.
day that like I feel that like for me wearing a skirt, especially something that feels like I'm a little bit of a tomboy, but I also like tap into that super feminine part of my energy. And when I'm tapping into that, like sometimes I feel cute in a skirt, but I just feel like you're not going to wear it. I'm glad you returned it.
From Miley's mouth to God's ears,
Yes.
guys. I could do this all day long, but
I
alas,
know.
you must leave
Same.
us. Miley Cyrus, thank you for being an amazing guest on The Goodbye. You are a style icon and a consummate shopper, we found out today.
Yeah, forever.
Oh, this was such a treat. And
Thank
I feel
you.
like gifted our audience with some really valuable style lessons. I mean, the way you describe the power of clothes are the ways that we think about it too.
Say goodbye at the
Bonjour.
Goodbye.
Au revoir.